Greetings, friends. Sunrose here. So it's a full moon, Friday the 13th, and wow, has it been a powerful day. I have felt my emotions sort of all over the place as I feel enthusiasm and bliss and joy for the glorious things in my life that are beginning to unfold. Things that I have been dreaming and imagining and aspiring to for years, and I can see and feel them finally starting to come to fruition. That is so awesome. At the same time, I find myself doing a lot of reflecting on the past and the old and the different things I've done and businesses and companies I've been involved with, companies I've had and owned myself, and all the different creative work I've done, some of which has fallen away or no longer serves me. And some of that's sad. I've found myself at times feeling like, wow, I've tried so many things and haven't really fully succeeded to my highest desire with so many things. And I've found myself dealing with a little bit of this feeling of failure, or like I've done something wrong. But that's really something I desire to speak to today, and I'll go more into this concept that we can't really do anything wrong, because everything that we've done up until now has served a purpose for us, and it's part of our masterpiece unfolding. So I desire to share with you something very powerful that I've been reflecting on today, and it's really within the category of creativity. And I'm going to do my best to make what could be a rather long story short. But a couple of years ago, I experienced some really intense migraines, and one of them lasted for like 4 months. And I found that during that time, anytime I was trying to think about things, I was in more and more and more pain. When I was trying to figure things out and process stuff and make choices, it was extremely excruciating for me. But as I was beginning to heal from this, I started having a really strong urge to paint. And I hadn't been doing much painting for a number of years, and that was actually part of what my pain and my stress was really about. But as I started finding a way to paint, and I begun by candlelight because that was the only light I could handle. But at first, but as I began finding a way to paint, I found that painting would help to relieve the pain. And even I would get into this state of sheer like ecstasy and joy and bliss, and a complete opposite state where the pain would actually go away for this brief period of time while I was really into my artwork. So I did as much painting as I could, and it was really the best medicine for me as I healed from these migraines, and I healed from really the pain I had inflicted on my own soul, from not really giving myself the gifts of my soul and doing what I came here to do. And wow, can I make just a whole video on that subject. But what I really choose to focus on and share with you today, and that I learned in this process, is that when I was trying to, even in painting, when I was judging what I was doing, or I was trying to think it through too much, the pain would come back. But as I would allow myself to just let go and flow and know that I couldn't actually do anything wrong, I could just trust in this divine flow, knowing that it was coming from source, it was coming from my soul, it was coming from my heart, that there was God and good and light behind my brush strokes, and just know that I couldn't get it wrong because I could always paint over it. Knowing that brought me joy, brought me bliss, brought me peace. And I have done my best to carry that into my life, and I've been reminded of that recently, and I was just feeling really inspired today to share that with you, because really life can be like that too. If we just remember that our seeming failures aren't really failures, they're just a layer of paint in creating the masterpiece of our lives and who we are and what we came here to do. Everything serves its purpose if we allow it to, and we go with the flow rather than resisting or fighting or judging what hasn't worked up until now. And I have a painting I desire to share with you all at the moment. And this is a painting that I did quite some time ago, after I was coming through this migraine time period, and also coming out of experiencing some really deep depression. And I was thinking a lot about the phoenix, and this firebird, this red bird, represents the phoenix. And there's a full moon as well. But this picture has a lot of symbolism that I desire to share with you. Here's a sun rose, which is a very powerful symbol for me. It's all about blooming and shining and unfolding and giving our light. And so this this phoenix firebird is carrying the sun rose on her back. And there's this clear, somewhat of agony or confusion going on. If you look in her face and in her eyes are rather bloodshot, and above her there is this light, there's this energy. It's kind of like an eye emitting light, and there's this uncertainty as to whether it's going into her mouth or coming out of her mouth, and also an uncertainty as to how the painting should be, whether she's above the earth or below the earth. And I really meant for it to feel that way, because this really speaks to that time of being sort of in between, where we're not sure if we're being born or we're dying, or some version of both. And often those things, it's not always appreciated or recognized, but those things can really go hand in hand. That's one of the things I love about the symbolism of the phoenix, is she dies and then is born anew from her ashes. And this firebird that I was experiencing in my soul work was uncertain as to what was happening and what stage she was in. She might be taking her first breath or her last breath. And I think it's what I learned through painting is there's no failing, there's no mess up. I can always add another layer of paint. I can always take it to the next level. And I learned in painting to trust my divine flow, and to trust that whatever came out of me was meant to be. And if I didn't quite like the way it looked or the way the colors, work together, but I could always add another layer. I could always change it. And the same is true for my life. The same is true for our lives. So I encourage you to realize that everything that you've done up until now has just been a part of your masterpiece unfolding. And you can't do it wrong. And truly, the more we can allow ourselves to flow and create and continue to layer the paint of our lives and just let it come out however it's meant to come out without having to judge it, the more that we can really thrive in our lives and feel whole and feel sacred in our lives, and give ourselves safety and the permission, the safety that we require and the permission that we require from our own hearts to really bloom. And that's really who I am and what I do and what I hope to inspire in you. Blooming is what I am passionate about. So I encourage you, dear one, do what it takes, do your creative work, and come forth into your fullness at your next level and your next level and your next level. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. And share the love, Let's do this.